Hey guys, how's it going? This is Waj, and in this video I'm going to be discussing my top 10 reasons of why I think the iPhone 6 Plus is better than the Samsung Galaxy Note 4. So if you're interested in getting perhaps this phone over this phone, I'll tell you 10 reasons why that might be a good idea, so stay tuned. Now starting off, one advantage that the 6 Plus has is that it has a new polarizing layer on top of the surface of the glass. So if you're with it in brightly lit sunlit conditions, you can actually eliminate a lot of glare and a lot of bright lights that come from outdoor environments or bright circumstances. So pretty much in every environmental condition, this screen is going to look really great, and it definitely stands out outdoors. You can lower the brightness and it still looks great and very, very vibrant. So definitely a big plus for me. At number 9, the iPhone 6 Plus has a lot better external speakers than the Note 4. The Note 4 has pretty much this tiny little thing that's hidden away. It sounds tinny. You can't really make out too much details. There's no bass, there's no mid-range. And obviously this is not a full-on stereo system, but much better in terms of overall sound reproduction. It gives you a nice mid-range, decent amount of bass, and definitely louder speaker as well, which is important for calls and entertaining people or watching YouTube videos or things like that without headphones. So definitely a big plus for me. At number 8, the 6 Plus is actually thinner than the Note 4, which is extremely impressive. Even though these are pretty much identical in terms of footprint, just having that aluminum body construction and being thinner is pretty remarkable on the 6 Plus side. Weight-wise, there's only a 4-gram difference. You're never going to tell the difference in terms of which one is heavier. But in terms of thinness, if you want to slide this in your pocket, you might have a little bit of advantage on this over this. The 7th reason has to do with the Siri voice recognition system on the 6 Plus versus the S voice system on the Note 4. Now the Note 4 has a pretty good system built in, but it's not as intuitive. I find that it has a little bit more trouble recognizing my voice. And the big feature over here on the iPhone 6 Plus side with the new iOS is that it has now SHAZAM integration. So you could basically pull up Siri and ask her what song is playing in the background. And even with a lot of background noise and everything, it does a great job of recognizing pretty much every song I tested it out with. So great handy feature that I'm certainly using quite a bit. The other thing too that I'm also using is the audio text messages integration. Now you can attach videos and photos and audio messages in the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 thanks to its software features, but it's a pretty clunky interface next to the very seamless and very intuitive interface that you have on the new iMessages app, where you can send and receive audio clips on the fly without any big hassles. And it's certainly a handy feature time and time again. My 5th reason has to do with making and receiving phone calls from your iOS devices and any Macintosh that's running the latest Yosemite OS 10. So the cool thing about that is that you can actually receive and take phone calls of different devices not using your phone, so which is very handy and very convenient if you're away from the phone, or if you have many people using the same phone number for whatever reason, if you want to use it as a home phone or something like that, where you can connect it to all of your iOS connected devices and your Macintosh computers that are running OS 10 Yosemite. So definitely an interesting proposition from Apple and a unique feature nonetheless. My 4th reason is that the Touch ID system or the fingerprint scanner on the iPhone 6 Plus is probably the best in any smartphone. It recognizes your fingerprint very, very quickly in any orientation, and it's certainly a lot less finicky than the one you find on the Note 4. Now my number 3 reason has to do with the internal hardware, and that's to do with the new A8 dual-core processor. Now, even though it's a dual-core processor, it can really keep up with even the latest generation Snapdragon 805 chip that's in the Note 4. And in terms of the Note 4, it does beat it in terms of multi-threaded applications. In terms of single-core applications and processes, the A8 is faster. So if you use a lot of single-core driven applications, you're going to find that the A8 is just a couple of steps ahead of what the Note 4 Snapdragon 805 chip can do. Now coming down to the wire, my second favorite feature has to be the 240 frames per second at 720p. It's effectively twice as good as anything in any other smartphone. including the Note 4. The Note 4 can do 720p at 120 frames per second, but 240 frames per second is a lot more cooler to look at. And my number one reason why I think the 6 Plus is a better phone than the Samsung Note 4 has to do with what the iPhone 6 Plus is and how it's made, where it comes from. Basically, if you take a look at it, it's made by Apple that controls the hardware and software. That means from the interface to the apps, to the hardware, to the screen. Obviously, they might not make the individual components inside this unit over here, but in terms of governing and controlling everything, they are control freaks. And that is definitely a good thing for the end user. This is one of the reasons why people still love iPhones, is because you can pick it up, and if you've never used an iPhone, you can within a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds, you kind of know where things are at. It's very intuitive to use, and it's one of the reasons why, you know, kids and older people love iPads and iPhones and things like that, and it's so approachable and so unintimidating. If you take a look at the Note 4, it's running KitKat 4.4.4, which is the latest and greatest OS from Android currently available right now, and that is until Android L comes out officially for this phone. And on top of that, Samsung wants to control the UI. So you're not running the pure Google experience on here. You have the TouchWiz interface. And TouchWiz definitely adds some conveniences. You can get quick features over here. But really, the biggest hurdle that the Note 4 has to face is its overly complicated menu systems and overall interface. TouchWiz, even though it's convenient, it's great for people that want to get in and out of the nitty-gritty of completely customizing their phone to their liking and have all these multitasking features and all these great things that feature-wise and specification-wise is fantastic. But Samsung is really trying to cram in as many things they can think of into one handset. Now, that might be a good thing in terms of feature set and list, and when you're doing spec comparisons, it's excellent. But when you're actually using the phone, it kind of gets in the way. If you're trying to do one particular thing, there's probably 4 or 5 ways you can do it. Versus on the iPhone, sure, it's getting more complicated and more complex as the latest generations of iOS start to roll out. But they still try to do it in a way that is non-intimidating and is very approachable. Versus this can certainly have a pretty steep learning curve if you've never used any smartphone. So that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I think the iPhone 6 Plus definitely has it over the Note 4. But on that, guys, that's really it. Now keep in mind that this was kind of my argument of why I think the 6 Plus is a better phone than the Samsung Galaxy Note 4. Keep in mind though that the Note 4 has a ton of different features, and if you're interested in hearing the counterpart of this argument, stay tuned to the end of this video where you'll find the opposite end where I tell you 10 reasons why the Note 4 is better. So if you're interested in a full comparison, check back to our channel and the end of the video where you'll find my full 22-minute comparison of me pretty much going in and out of the nitty-gritty details between these two smartphones. But other than that, if you like this video, please make sure to give us a thumbs up. That really helps us out, and we'll see you later. Take care.